Hey there, in this video I am testing a brand new pottery wheel. It is Uniek. It really is unique though, but that's the brand. The pottery wheel is in this box. It's a mini pottery wheel, if you couldn't tell. I'm gonna make some really cute little things with air dry clay, and I was kindly sent this. Thank you so much. I'm really excited to share it with all of you because I love clay. Let's unbox this. Ooh, got a box in a box. That's good. It comes well protected with this foam. Oh, it's so cute. I purposely put on a yellow shirt in honor of this. I might, if I really like it, get one of the turquoise and or pink ones. Maybe the white. I like a lot of them. Here it is. So cute. Oh my gosh, I dropped the cord. It actually fits in the palm of my hand. Look at this, look at this. Oh my gosh. The bottom comes out to reveal all these tools. I love the retro vibes of this and retro kitchens, which is what this is inspired by. If you want to purchase your very own mini pottery wheel, I will put a link in the description box below. So without further ado, let's get on into the demonstration, review, and creating artwork with clay. Oh, I love clay, can you tell? Let's get into it. Ooh. Here it is, an all-in-one compact wheel for pottery. In addition to being able to create mini art pieces with this cute little wheel, it's also very aesthetically pleasing. At least I think so. So you can use it as home decor in any room in your house. And there are lots of different colors to choose from. On top there is this turning wheel. There are 2 different sizes available, but I only got one to try. And there is this white square that comes out and you put water in there. It's called the water pool. Over here is the control button and the battery indicator. When you turn the dial, it sets the speed of the wheel. You can make it go really, really fast if you want to. And moving the little lever will turn it on and off. The charging cord plugs into the back here, and then you'll want to put the USB into any box that you have to plug into an outlet. When it's all charged, it's cable free and you can work on it without the cord. The bottom comes out to reveal 15 tool bits, 1 tool pen, and a sponge. A little tiny sponge guy. I had a little trouble getting the tool pen out, as you can see, so I used one of the tool bits and I used the solid part of it to help me get that out of the container. But I did find out a little bit later that if you push the top in, like kind of like a pen clicker almost, that's the easy way to get it out, for me anyway. The tool bits are very easily interchangeable. You just slide it in like so, and it is a little tiny bit loose, which I was worried about and I thought that that was going to cause a problem. But when you are working with the clay, it actually is good that it has a little bit of give and wiggles a tiny bit. You can't even tell when you're working with it. And when you're working with clay, there is a really good chance that some of the clay is going to wind up on your tool, and it's going to help it be more stable in there. But don't worry, it's not going to fall out or anything. There is a magnet, I don't know if you can tell, but the magnet also helps it stay in place. And when you want to switch the tip, you just push the top down, kind of like clicking a pen, as I mentioned, and that will just pop right out. And you can very easily change your tools by hand, or you can use the tool pen and just kind of like stick that into the toolbox and put it on like so. So I'm very impressed with the design of this. There's another really cool feature. When you're working on this, the bottom of the wheel actually has anti-slip rubber all around, so it'll stay in place on your table or work surface a lot better. Moving on to the clay, you do have to purchase clay on your own. This kit doesn't come with clay, but that's understandable because clay is very heavy and people have different preferences. I chose to use Craftsmart Natural Clay. It's a 10-pound box, and I got this on sale at Michael's. I think it was 20% off. it was 20% off my entire purchase. But if you wait, sometimes they have coupons for 40, 50, or even sometimes 60% off one regular priced item. So definitely take advantage of coupons at craft stores. I chose to use gray clay. There's also a terracotta in this brand. I actually went ahead and purchased 7 different air dry clays. So there will be a separate video in the upcoming weeks. If you are interested in that, be sure to subscribe and turn bell notifications on, because I don't know exactly when it's going to be coming, but I tested all these different clays. After kneading the clay a little bit in my hands, working with it, and rolling it into a ball, I am finally going to create a little tiny piece on this wheel. I'm filling the water pool with some water, and then I'm placing the clay on like so. The most important thing is to center the clay. So you want to get it kind of in a ball and then move it into a pyramid shape, but a rounded pyramid. And you want to get it as centered as possible in the middle of the turning wheel. At this point, I am working cord free, which is really awesome. And I am using the sponge to help me center the clay as best as I can. After getting the clay completely centered, I am going to open it up by placing my finger in the top there. You want to put it in the absolute center, as centered as you possibly can. And you can use a tool for this, which I do show later on, but I wanted to just try this part with my fingers. I use a sponge to help me. For this, you want to use a lot of water. At least that's what works for me. And this is to keep the clay smooth, because if there's friction when you are throwing a pot or a vase, whatever piece you are making, it's not going to move the clay very well, and you'll end up with some bumps and dips, and it just will not be very pretty, and you won't have an easy time. The key is to go really, really slow until you're comfortable, because it's so easy to accidentally throw it off center and make it do something awful like this. So I was able to kind of redeem myself and bring it back to life, which I'll show you. Also, I made the mistake of taking my hands away after adding a ton of water and letting it spin, and it did this. It splattered all over the table, all over the floor, a little bit on my clothes. It's not supposed to be this messy. However, it was kind of my mistake. The more that you work with it, the more that you'll learn how to not make a mess with it, but this could happen, just letting you know. It's very, very easy to clean up though. So I mentioned I was able to salvage this piece of clay that I'm working with and get it centered again. However, this doesn't last forever. So I got it kind of into a bowl shape, brought the top out, and everything was looking okay. See? Got some nice shape going. It's looking like a honey pot or something of that sort, and made her a little taller. Then I was trimming it with the tool and oh no! Yeah. Over 30 minutes in, and then all of a sudden I trim too much off the bottom and the pot goes off center. Oh my gosh. So I'm showing you this so you don't get super frustrated with your first or second or third try. I kept trying to work with it because I didn't want to admit that I failed on the first try, but I couldn't do it. See, it just got all wobbly and wonky, and eventually I just smashed it. So that was attempt number 1. You can reuse that clay, but you don't want to reuse it right away. You want to let it dry out a little bit so it's not super mushy, because this is attempt number 2, and as you will see, even though it is looking nice and it's able to be worked with at the beginning, just the amount of moisture in it is going to eventually make it go really, really off center. It's going to be too squishy, and it's going to move out of the center of the wheel because it's just too wet. So don't make that same mistake that I did. On my first attempt, that was 35 minutes of footage total, but I obviously sped it up a lot. I have tested a couple toy pottery wheels on my channel over the years. I'll link those below if you're interested in seeing. They were actually a little bit bigger than this, so this is my first time working with mini pottery, and it is quite the challenge. I did take courses in college in ceramics and pottery. However, that was a very long time ago, and I am really out of practice and definitely am trying to build up my skills in this video. I made quite a few mistakes over the process, but by the end of the video, I actually did get some pieces that I was pretty happy with, that I am pretty happy with. Now for some great news. Attempt number 3 actually turns out really well. At least decent for my first try, my first day working with this wheel. And as I mentioned, many years of really zero practice, aside from a couple kits that I tried. In case any of you are going to comment on my nails being too long, they're actually longer in one of my previous videos, and I got so many people just really annoyed with me, and oh my gosh, the comments were really funny. It's a lot easier to do this if your nails are completely trimmed down to the skin basically, but I didn't want to cut mine anymore. I just kind of learned to manage. But I'm not gonna lie, I did have some mishaps here and there where I accidentally stuck my nail into the clay and it messed it up a little bit, but I was able to fix it. So that's just kind of the risk you take if you don't have your nails completely trimmed down. After about a solid hour of working on this wheel without the cord, it ended up stopping. So I did charge this overnight, and I got about an hour charge out of it, which it's supposed to have a longer charge than that. Uh-oh. Oh, and it died. It's supposed to last for 4 to 6 hours non-stop without the cord. However, I did not have that experience. I'm not sure what happened. The good news is I am able to work on it while it's plugged in. So I was able to continue with this piece here and complete it. For me, each piece takes probably about 30 to 45 minutes to complete. You might be able to do it a lot quicker. You might be slower. I don't know. You can let your pottery dry on the wheel for a few hours or overnight. If you want to speed up the drying process, however, there is a heating gun as one of the add-ons on the Kickstarter page. Also, you could use a blow dryer or your own heat gun, a fan, anything to kind of speed that along, but just be careful because they're tiny. After I was happy with it, I took a sandwich bag to cover it up so it could dry a little bit slower, but since it's only a tiny amount of clay, I realized that I didn't even need to cover it. So now I'm going to show you how you can paint it on the wheel. I actually let this dry way too long before I decided to paint it on the wheel, so I was able to get some on the bottom there just by holding the paintbrush to it, but then it loosened and came off. So if you're going to paint it on the wheel, you'll want to do it while it's still wet. Now we're moving to a different angle so I can show you throwing from above. I wiped off the wheel to remove all the clay residue, all that hardened, dry stuff. And now that I've had some practice, I am able to center the clay a lot more easily. I'm going to open up the center with this tool here. So there's just an example of using something other than your fingers and to show you how helpful these tools are. I get a little stubborn and I really want to do everything with my fingers, but tools are there for a reason. They are going to help you, especially with something so small scale. So don't for one second think that it is quote unquote cheating to use tools. You're still the one controlling those tools, and they're going to make your life so much easier. In order to shape, you see that I stick a finger down in there and then my thumb on the outside. In order to pull it up, you want to apply pressure evenly with both fingers. To make it wider and come out, you'll apply pressure only with the finger on the inside, and to make it thinner, you'll apply pressure only with your thumb. There are so many different shapes that you can create, and I tried to do a variety to show you some of the different options. Now let's paint it while it's wet. This is a really cool effect, but you do have to go pretty slow with it because the clay can still be moved at this point by the paintbrush. So I'm just very carefully applying the acrylic and making sure that I hold the brush in place and don't dig it into the wet clay. So I tried to make the orange and yellow blend, and then at the top I'm putting this hot pink, and I'm applying some to the top as well because you can see inside. And then I let it dry and I tried one of the white clays. It's a stone clay and it is white instead of gray. Off the bat, I found that it was actually a lot easier to center. However, after opening it up, I found that it was actually harder to throw and make taller and thinner. So there's going to be pros and cons to every clay. I found also that this one got a lot more mushy and goopy. When it gets wet, it turns a lot more soupy and it stays on your fingers. I was able to get a nice piece, however, at the end when I stopped it, you'll see here that it does not look very smooth. I ended up with 7 pieces of pottery. 5 of them are painted so far. Let me know in the comment section below which one of these is your favorite. And also please give me a couple ideas on how I should paint the other 2, and I'll show them completed in my clay testing video coming up. Feeling like a DJ, but I'd probably be terrible, honestly. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a big thumbs up. Thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you very soon in my next video. Bye! See what you can do. One day I am going to have a retro kitchen in my basement. So like I'll have 2 kitchens, but it won't be my main one. Okay, I'm rambling. Let's get into it. Yay!